Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Global Smart Gov. It's a special session in Web Summit Rio 2025. And here today, we will talk about a digital government and all the ecosystem about one country. This country is Estonia. And I'm here with Ülane Vilumets. I'm sorry about the name. She's head of business development at e-Residency from Estonia. Thank you so much to stay here to talk with our audience.
Nice to be here.
Talking a little bit about Estonia. Estonia is recognized as the most digital country in the world and stands out on the global digital stage as a pioneering country in innovation and technology, with an advanced startup ecosystem and leading Europe in the number of startups per capita. There are about 1.2 such companies for every 1,000 inhabitants, one of the highest rates in the world. Estonia is recognized as one of the most digital nations in the world, with 100% of public service available online. It was 90% for some years. And please tell me what this means for the country, culture, and for every citizen in the end.
Yeah, so in Estonia, it starts when you're born, basically. So when a child is born, then in the hospital you are given an ID code. It's something like your CPF in Brazil. So you get a unique code, and based on this code is based also the digital identity. So a person, like the parents, for example, can log in and they can name the child online. They can sign up for social services online that have to do with being at home with the baby. So everything is based on that, and this is something that allows us to actually save a lot of resources, save a lot of human hours on running the country, because we're not very big, as you know.
And the digital is part of the citizens' culture and the government culture as well.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me more about this, how it works in the day by day.
So, for example, altogether we have something like 1,500 different services that are accessible with the same digital identity. It means that when I go to a doctor, then I don't get a prescription on paper. The doctor gives me a digital prescription, and then I don't need anything else but my ID to go to the pharmacy. And every pharmacy in the country is connected to the same system. So they will look at my ID, they go like, okay, you have these prescriptions. Also, for example, for signing up for child support services. For example, the government sends you an email saying that, we see you have a baby. Go now online and tick the boxes who will be at home with the baby and who will start receiving the benefits. So it's on every step of the way, from medical to schools. I have 2 kids in school, and I log into the e-school system and I see if they have not gone to some lesson or what grades they have gotten. So everything is based on a digital ID, basically.
Tell me more about the beginning of this process. How was the beginning of this transformation?
Mm-hmm. So we came out of being a part of the Soviet Union in 1991. So we had to build an independent country from scratch. And because we are tiny, our population is 1.3 million people, which is less than some cities in Brazil, like less than Curitiba. Then we had to figure out how to do things in a very efficient way, because we couldn't build loads of big government institutions with a lot of people. We just had to be very smart about it. And I think one of the things in the 90s was also that some visionaries of the country, they were very, very young. And they put their focus right away on computers. So they made sure that every school had computers. There were kids who would go to these computer classes, already mid-90s, like learning how to code. And that built up this whole generation of people who very much believed that the future is digital. We made our ID card compulsory in 2002, which is the card that is used to log into those services. And in 2002, I was straight out of high school, and so all my adult life, I have only known that you can do things with your ID card. Like, I don't know what it was like to actually go somewhere and fill things out on paper. So it's been evolving, and nowadays we already talk about things like data embassy, because our country is basically backed up in the cloud. Yeah, so we have a data embassy in Luxembourg. All of our state systems, they are backed up to a server in Luxembourg. We are talking about proactive digital services, which means that I don't have to know as a citizen where and what do I have to do, but the state sends me information that, you know, this is now due, or this is what you have to do. So it's been a massive progress during those years. But one of the key things that we did was making this digital ID compulsory, and people didn't like it at first. Okay.
Oh, really? Tell me more about that.
So there was.
When was it?
2002.
2002.
Yeah. So people didn't like it because there was no infrastructure built to back it up. Like, okay, like, why do I have to have this ID? People were joking even that, you know, you can scrape ice off your car window in winter with this card, but in the end, the services, they started coming along. So banks were the first ones to adopt using the same ID. So to log into your internet bank, you know, you use that same ID. And in the end, now it's like everywhere, telecoms, anywhere where you have to prove who you are, basically.
Is it standard? Mm-hmm. And how was the transformation inside the government? Because normally government is more traditional,
slow,
and how it works in Estonia, and how is now the culture inside the government as well?
I think one of the key things in the public sector side was that the public sector didn't try to do it all themselves. So all of the Estonian state infrastructure is actually built together with private sector, and that's, I think, a key thing, because a government cannot be efficient in building IT services, right? So they are there for some other reason. They're there to serve their citizens. So it was done together with the IT companies. So we have some IT companies nowadays who have so much experience in building the infrastructure. And one key thing is the fact that the architecture of the Estonian web systems is that it's not one big central database, but it's different databases that are communicating with each other. Okay. So it's kind of important thing, because it's hard to take down the whole system, right? So we call it the X road. The X road is basically like a virtual highway between those databases, and inquiries are being sent every day in thousands. Or, you know, it's basically, it's a very busy highway. It will be the busiest highway in the country. So the X road is definitely one of the things that is very important to understand. And we have exported this X road concept to many other countries as well. So countries who want to actually learn.
It's open source.
It's not the open source, but the IT companies who have built this. They are able to build the same services for other countries as well. So the private-public partnership, the fact that it's different databases that are talking to each other, and I think maybe the fact that in general the country has focused on lowering the level of bureaucracy. So this has been like a thing that we have done over the years, and that's everywhere. So you have to give the government your data once only. So there's a once only principle. So for example, if a bank needs to get my address, they have right to send an inquiry to the population registry, right? Like they'll get my address from there. It's not like I have to give my address every single time when somebody needs my address. So they can pull this data in. And another principle that we have is that the citizen owns their data, which means that I can check at any time who was looking at my data. And for example, my health records can only be accessed legally by the doctor that's actually treating me. If it's a doctor who's just curious about my health situation, they will get, punished. They will get punished. It's against the law to check up on somebody's health records if you're not actually treating them. Like you have no right. So a citizen can at any point in time check who's been looking at their data, and if there's something suspicious there, then that's that's not, it's against law basically. So a citizen owns their data.
Great. You said about the private companies, and tell me more about the innovation ecosystem you have in Estonia, how it works, how is the power of this innovation startup ecosystem?
So as I mentioned, Estonia is 1.3 million people, and we have built, with those 1.3 million people, we have built 10 companies that are considered unicorns.
10 companies.
10 companies that are considered unicorns, and this is an extremely high ratio of companies of such valuation. I think there are kind of like several factors playing into this, but one of them is that thanks to the fact that the country is very digital, it democratizes company creation, it democratizes business establishment. So it's like you don't have to have a rich family already to actually start something big. So, Skype was founded by Estonians as well. So, if Estonians realize that, okay, like Estonians can build a company that's sold to Microsoft at some point, then anybody can do it. So like the barrier is gone, right? So democratizing business with low bureaucracy, low cost, digital access. You don't have to be, a millionaire to start a business. So that's one thing. And the second thing is that the ecosystem starts reinforcing itself. So all of the founders who have exited Estonian successful unicorns, and they've become quite wealthy, in the process of doing so, they have not taken their money and, gone to, Cayman Islands, but they have invested that money back into the ecosystem. So we have a very healthy angel investment scene, a very healthy VC investment scene, and it's very largely founder driven. So those successful founders, they are hands-on in the ecosystem, and we can now say that, there are people who were involved with Skype in the early days. They are in hundreds of different new startups because, this knowledge of how to build a successful company, it starts reproducing itself. So that's my short summary.
Great, inspiring. You work direct with e-Residency. Tell us more about this program, how it works.
So e-Residency is essentially nothing else than the same kind of digital identity that all of our citizens have, but it's given to foreigners. So we have an ID card where there's also your photo, and you can use it in real life to prove your identity just as well as a passport. But the e-Residency card is only the digital access. So it is given to foreigners, and foreigners can basically do all the same things that the Estonians can, but because they don't have kids in school in Estonia or they don't have a doctor in Estonia, most of it is useless for them. They can log in and they can check it out, but the thing that is making sense for them is to start a business in Estonia. And Estonia is, for Europe, it's one of those preferred jurisdictions where things for example, tech startups are easy. The things that they need are regulated well. So, in Delaware, in the US, or for Europe, Estonia could be that place where you actually set up and you can do it digitally from wherever you are.
Great. And these startups and these companies can access the local benefits?
The government benefits, like for example, you're talking about grants?
The investment or access of these VCs and these ecosystem, this local ecosystem.
Yeah, the startup ecosystem is, thanks to e-Residency, it's super international. So there are 1,400, 500 startups in the Estonian startup ecosystem, and about 40% of them have one or more e-Residents involved in the company. So you can just get an understanding of how international it is. So when a startup is registered in Estonia, depending on the specific things, of course, investors are open to investing into them, and not only Estonian investors, but also investors around Europe. For example, I'm just working on one company that is bringing their HQ from Delaware to Estonia because their investors are actually in some other European country, but they told them that we would like you to be in Europe instead of Delaware, because costs are so much higher in America to do every transaction with lawyers and tax advisors. So investors, definitely same access to e-residents just as well as to citizens. Government grants depend on specific eligibility requirements. So for example, if you're applying for a deep tech development grant, then something of this R&D has to happen locally also in Estonia. So grants and various other financial benefits, they have, each one of them has different conditions, right? So depends on the exact conditions of the benefit.
And do you have a specific area of segments or something like that, or not? Or is open?
For e-residency, we are industry agnostic. Like we don't care what you do, but we see, of course, like the biggest overlap with tech startups. We also see a lot of digital services. So, like people who are doing digital marketing, they are doing web development as a service, not building their own product. We see a lot of business consultants who are expanding into the European market. So these are all the kind of the industries where I think adopting different new IT solutions is also easier because they are the very forward-thinking people. So e-residency is not good for local business. So like it's no help for you if you are, let's say, a Brazilian restaurant owner, because your business is here, it's physically attached to a place, and there's no use of Estonian company to you.
And do you have any Brazilian in these programs?
We do.
E-Residency?
Yeah, we have about 1,400 Brazilians. Oh, and they have started over 400 companies in Estonia. So yeah, we have just now recently started consular missions to Brazil and Argentina. So it's possible for Brazilians now to actually get their e-residency here in São Paulo. Before that, they had to go to either our embassy in the US or travel to Europe to actually pick up the card. And because it is a government-issued ID, it is very secure. And that means that you are actually identified face-to-face, and your fingerprints are captured as well, so that we can actually be certain that the person using the card is really indeed who they say they were. So that's why the physical contact is needed. And now it's finally possible to get your e-residency card after every 2 months here in São Paulo.
Wow, great. Then you said about some critical topics such as data protection and privacy, especially in the context of e-residence. Mm-hmm. How it works, how is the priority of cybersecurity in the country as well? It's as important as just the fact that we actually are the location for NATO's cybersecurity headquarters. So Estonia has been a forerunner in everything that has to do with cybersecurity. The data of e-residents is treated just the same as the citizens' data, as I mentioned, that you own your data and you can at any point, check like what it's used for and who has looked at it, and you can also delete the inquiries. So it's taken quite seriously, yeah. Great. And what's the process to apply for e-residency, like a Brazilian or for another country?
So first of all, you fill out an online application, which is explaining why you even need e-residency. So either you're looking to expand your existing business to Europe, or you're looking to actually build your startup in Estonia, and you can also apply for startup visa and actually physically come to Estonia if you want. So you write your application to the police and border guard, and for us it's really important to keep honest and transparent business in Estonia and get rid of bad players. So there is a background check involved. Our police actually checks every applicant's background, and if the application is approved, then the card is printed and it travels to Brazil when you want to get it, or it travels to one of our embassies, because all our embassies are actually the typical places where you get the residency card. And then the embassy or our police and border guard will notify you that now your card is arriving, and schedules a time with you when you can actually come and pick it up and do the biometrics capture, so face-to-face authentication and fingerprints. So that's largely the process. For Brazil, because we are doing these mobile pickup missions, let's say, it's not possible to get your e-residency every moment. So you have to wait until the next mission comes here. But for the rest of the world, usually it takes about, let's say, 5-6 weeks to get the identity. And then you can basically log on to the business registry and start a company in 20 minutes. We actually even established the world record of how quickly you can start a company on a London Tech Week stage some 3 years ago. An e-resident was on the stage trying to register a company. It took him 15 minutes and 33 seconds,
wow,
while the Wi-Fi broke 3 times. Okay,
really?
So here at Web Summit Rio, the Wi-Fi has been actually excellent, but at London Tech Week, the Wi-Fi went down 3 times during this time when he was on the stage, and you could see that he was very nervous, but he still managed to break the world record and do it in 15 minutes and 33 seconds.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Global Smart Gov. Ülane, thank you so much. Congrats about your job, the great project you have in Estonia. I know it will be very inspiring for the Brazilian and global people as well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.